Hi and welcome to Opm Now, where we look at the activities of the Prime Minister and your government. I'm Naomi Francis. This week on Opm Now, state of public emergency declared in 7 police divisions. Government to begin filing civil actions in court against families who abandon relatives at health facilities. And the trains hit the track yet again. These stories coming up right now. The government on Sunday announced that, acting on the advice of the security chiefs, the Governor General has signed the declaration for 7 police divisions to be under a state of public emergency. The areas under the SOEs are the western parishes of St. James, Hanover and Westmoreland, and in the corporate area, the divisions of St. Andrew South, Kingston Western, Kingston Central, and Kingston East. The SOEs, which were imposed on Sunday, November 14, will run for 14 days in the first instance.
My job as Prime Minister is to preserve and protect the rights of the citizens, including those who are criminals and convicted and proven so, those who are suspected, and the rights of every citizen to their life. Were it a point that states of public emergency should not exist, were it a point that states of public emergency cannot be used, or are foreign to our constitutional arrangement, then we would have to look at those arguments very carefully. But the point is that there is an emergency in the country. Our murder rate per 100,000 is the 5th highest in the world. It is way above the regional average of 15 and the global average of 6, several times over that. And the one tool that has worked, where the government has spent enormous resources and effort to ensure that as best as possible, we balance the rights of all involved and protect all involved, and we have not demonstrated any reluctance to change and improve and revise and fine-tune, as the Attorney General will tell you as we go along, to respond to this emergency.
For the residents of these communities, these statistics relate to family members, neighbors, sons, daughters, and friends who were killed by heartless armed thugs. The state of emergency within the area is to restore some sense of normalcy for these families so they can feel safe enough to walk through their communities without fear of gang reprisals.
Having listened to the reasons for recommendation and having satisfying myself as a principal legal advisor to the government that the facts came within the constitutional provision and the criteria set out in the Constitution, I'm of the view that if the government were formed by the party which is now in opposition, I don't know how they would reject the recommendation. I don't believe they would. But of course, governments have information that oppositions don't have. And so it's understandable that the debate will rage.
As of January 2022, the government will begin the process of filing civil action suits in court against the families of persons who abandon their relatives in healthcare facilities. The Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. the Honourable Christopher Tufton, made the announcement in Parliament recently. He said that there are currently 174 of these social cases in hospitals across the country.
It is really unfair. It is unfair for persons who need a hospital bed and cannot get one because it is occupied for multiple years by persons who would have been released but have nowhere to go. I believe that the state has to maintain compassion for those persons because they are victims. But we should not confuse the compassion we show to those persons by extending it to the family members who exploit those persons' situations and are taking advantage of their assets where those assets exist.
The Minister of State in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the Honorable Xavier Main, is calling on employers to hire more persons with disabilities. Minister Main says that persons with disabilities have the ability to perform duties as good as able-bodied workers. As a result, the state minister indicated that the government is taking the necessary steps to reduce discrimination against persons with disabilities and is committed to developing an inclusive society in keeping with Jamaica's Vision 2030.
The government is also committed to an inclusive society in keeping with Vision 2030. And for this reason, we have promulgated the regulations to the Disabilities Act as the country's disabilities laws will take effect in February 2022.
And finally, our team took some time to visit the Jamaica Railway Corporation, which is back on track with 2 trains to transport students from Linstead to Spanish Town and Old Harbour to Spanish Town. Take a look.
A train service that would take school children from Linstead to Spanish Town and Old Harbour to Spanish Town. And so far we are ready to roll. We have 2 trains in operation that can take children from Old Harbour, pick up students along the route, bring them to Spanish Town, and so from Linstead to Spanish Town. We're going to have about 3 stops from Old Harbour and about 2 from Linstead, that we can pick up students and bring them to Spanish Town. And then we have been partnering with the JUTC that will take them to the various schools in Spanish Town. And I must add that this system will be a cashless system. No money will be exchanged along the route. We'll have a cashless system in place.
From Old Harbour to Spanish Town, 25 minutes or the most. From Linstead, it's about 30-35 minutes.
I will be acting in the capacity of a guard, and the total control of the children and the people that travel will be under my care.
We're going to have hand sanitizers on the train, and we're going to have the temperature checks for all students that are boarding the trains. All our staff will be vaccinated.
Because of the protocols and the COVID distancing, we are targeting to have on each train I think it's about 200 persons, 200 students.
And that's it for OPM Now. Please remember to follow the Prime Minister on all socials at Andrew Holness JM and on YouTube at Andrew Michael Holness /JM. And don't forget to look out for OPM Now every Monday at 6 p.m. on all socials. Catch you next week and stay safe.